Good evening and welcome to the news roundup for Wednesday the 26th of July. Before we get into the news, please remember to like this video, share your views in the comments, and share the video with your family and friends.
Reach them! Always make sure the message reach them!
Now for the news in detail. Dancehall artist Mad Cobra is facing up to 30 years in prison after cops discovered 2 kilograms of cocaine in his vehicle. Cobra, given name Ewart Everton Brown, was given surety bonds of $5,000 on the charge of possession of a weapon during a violent crime and $120,000 on the charge of trafficking in cocaine of 400 grams or more. His bail is set at US $125,000. Cobra was arrested on Tuesday after deputies in Florence County in South Carolina pulled him over for a traffic stop and reportedly discovered the 2 kilos of cocaine in the vehicle. A release from the Florence County Sheriff's Office said Brown was arrested after deputies initiated a traffic stop on his black BMW SUV for speeding along I-95 in Florence County. Once deputies had Brown stopped, they reportedly had reasonable suspicion of criminal activity and asked him for consent to search his vehicle. During the search, they reportedly discovered the cocaine and a 9mm Beretta. Mad Cobra had not taken up bail up to press time. A bill to extend the tenure of Director of Public Prosecutions was passed in the House of Representatives despite strong objections from the parliamentary opposition. The bill, which was tabled by Justice Minister Delroy Chuck, sought to extend the retirement age of both the Auditor General and the Director of Public Prosecutions from 60 to 65 years. Chuck said the move was necessary as the constitutionality established a ceiling for the age of retirement for the Auditor General and the Director of Public Prosecutions is 5 years shorter when compared with the upper limit of a public officer in the civil service. These amendments raise the age of retirement to 65 years and allow for the Governor General in appropriate cases to permit an extension of up to 70 years. Meanwhile, opposition leader Mark Golding contended that the manner in which the government sought to extend the DPPs' tenure is reflective of bad governance. Golding said the decision was taken without consultation with the opposition. He confirmed in the House of Representatives that the opposition will be challenging the decision in court. Meanwhile, King's Counsel Peter Champagny has come out in support of the government's move and is criticizing those in opposition to the decision. Champagny says the move brings Jamaica in alignment with what obtains in the region.
It is most unfortunate that the opposition to the proposed extension of the retirement age of our DPP has taken on a particular flavor that to my mind is rooted in sheer politics. Jamaica is one of the very few countries, and may in fact be the only country in the region, that the age of retirement is 60 years for the DPP. Barbados, the Bahamas, Trinidad and Tobago, and the Cayman Islands all have retirement ages beyond 60 years.
He says the stance taken by the opposition in seeking to resist the increase in the retirement age is unfortunate because Paula Llewellyn has been an outstanding servant of Jamaica.
Personally speaking, it is regrettable that those detractors of our current DPP have never encountered her or her prosecutors in the adversarial arena. Herself, as well as the prosecutors under her leadership, have been outstanding. And I suppose that this is a case where a king is never really honored in his own country. I would endorse, and I think that Miss Llewellyn is an outstanding public servant, and her contribution to Jamaica has been immense. It should not be marred in sheer politics.
Triggerman Dwight Bingham has been sentenced to 45 years in prison for killing Andrea Lowe Garwood as she worshipped in church in Trelawney in January of 2021. He was initially given 45 years, but because he has already served 3 years, the sentence was reduced to 42 years. He was also slapped with a 23-year sentence for possession of a firearm. He will not be eligible for parole until he serves a minimum of 30 years. The sentence was handed down in the Trelawney Circuit Court on Tuesday by Chief Justice Brian Sykes. Bingham's sentencing is the latest development in a case that sent shockwaves across Jamaica. Last week, Lowe Garwood's stepson Javan Garwood walked free after the prosecution's case crumbled because Bingham refused to testify against him. Leon Hines, The getaway driver who testified against Garwood and Bingham was previously sentenced to 6 years in prison. President of the People's National Party, Mark Golding, has apologized for his controversial statement about dead voters made on a political platform on Sunday. Golding has been harshly criticized for the comment which appeared to encourage supporters to cast ballots in the name of dead voters. Addressing the matter at a press conference on Wednesday, Golding reiterated that the remark was a light-hearted response to a comment from a supporter at the East Rural St. Andrew Constituency Conference.
On Sunday, at the constituency conference for East Rural St. Andrew, I made some remarks which were really off the cuff and were a response to some banter in the crowd. The remarks were intended to be humorous and were not intended to be taken seriously. I realize, however, that some people have interpreted those remarks as being serious statements of my position on the matter. That is not the case, and I unreservedly withdraw and retract those remarks. I am fully committed to Jamaica having a free and fair electoral system so that our democratic elections are conducted to the highest standards of fairness. I'm fully committed to the elimination of all forms of electoral malpractice.
The project's manager of the Marino Foundation expressed appreciation for the government's commitment to establishing facilities for treating severe burns in Jamaica. The Marino Foundation has been advocating for such a facility to prevent unnecessary deaths and reduce the need to send patients abroad for treatment. Petrojam, under the Ministry of Science, Energy and Technology, pledged to raise funds for constructing a burn unit at the University Hospital of the West Indies. The goal is to raise around $200 million for this project. Telroy Morgan, the incoming general manager of Petrojam, emphasized the importance of the burn unit for the entire nation and the need for it to meet world-class standards in design, implementation, and operation. The St. Catherine North police are trying to ascertain the identity of a male whose body was found wrapped in tarpaulin in bushes in Hill Run in the parish. Passerby reportedly stumbled upon the body about 7 a.m. on Wednesday. The nearby Fellowship Hall police station was contacted. The police team later confirmed the body was missing an ear and eye. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. Investigations are ongoing. One 9mm pistol along with 6 rounds of ammunition was seized at premises in Hertford District, Whithorn, Westmoreland on Tuesday. 28-year-old Romario Yee of Dumfries Street, Denham Town, Kingston 14, was arrested for the seizure. He was charged with possession of a prohibited weapon and unauthorized possession of ammunition. Reports are that about 10 p.m., lawmen conducted an operation at the premises where Yee occupied. During the search, 6 9mm rounds were found in his possession. A further search of the premises was conducted the following morning, and 1 9mm pistol was seized. He was arrested and charged after a question and answer session in the presence of his attorney. Yee was recently charged with murder in Denham Town and was ordered by the court to relocate, which he did, and went to Westmoreland. His court date has not yet been finalized. Detectives attached to the St. Catherine South Division have brought charges against 3 men in connection with breaches of the Law Reform Fraudulent Transactions Special Provisions Act, also known as the Lottery Scam Act. Reports are that on Monday the 17th of July, during an operation in Phoenix Village, Portmore, St. Catherine, 11 people, 10 males and 1 female, were taken into custody. After thorough searches of the premises, electronic devices were found. Charged are 21-year-old Noel Martin, a farmer and rafter of Hague Housing Scheme in Trelawney. 20-year-old Rivaldo Cousins, otherwise called Raheem, a music producer of Rainover in St. Mary, and 22-year-old Javel Watson, a bearer of St. Jacob Grove in Spanish Town, St. Catherine. The other 8 individuals have been released pending further investigations. In business, the Supreme Court has ruled that the government's application to shut down scandal-plagued investment firm Stocks and Securities Limited (SSL) will be heard in open court. In his ruling last week, Justice David Batts says this will allow the public and investors to follow the proceedings. Justice Batts also ordered that the application for permission being sought by the Financial Services Commission FSC to wind up the company will be tried in November. The FSC, which has a temporary management of SSL, wants to wind up the firm, believing it lacks enough money to pay its debts. In sports, Jamaican student athlete 22-year-old Nathan Reed died as a result of injuries he sustained in a car crash in Douglas, Wyoming, in the United States on Monday. Reed, a past student of Cornell College, was a shot put and discus thrower at the University of Wyoming, where he was majoring in mechanical engineering. And on the entertainment scene, dancehall DJ Beenie Man is set to release his 17th studio album titled Simmer on the 31st of August. Busy Signal, Pata Ranking, Maya, Hood Celebrity, Dexter Daps, Shensia, Bungie Garling, Shaggy, Popcorn, Dre Island, Morgan Heritage, Sean Paul, Charlie Black, Anthony Red Rose, Louis Culture and Stoneboy are among the collaborators who are featured on the album. Among the producers who worked on the project are Suku, Dirty Rock Productions, Walter Fire, Rohan Smith, Tony Kelly, and Teddy Riley. Beenie Man said this album will showcase his versatility as an artist. And that is it for your news roundup for today. We would appreciate you liking this video, leaving a comment, and sharing the video with your family and friends. Have a good evening and see you next time.